All right, so let me try to do this on my phone instead of the 4K, because the 4K camcorder is like way too heavy to hold. So I got this from Poland, and what it is it's the Vintage Sculpt Skeletor and He-Man. Now over here is the original ones that probably everybody got, the new for 20. All right. Now the main difference between these ones that I'm gonna open and these ones is really just the heads. The only difference is the head sculpt is really different. And it's the original head sculpt. And the comic books, I believe, are a little bit different. Other than that, I think just the packaging on the back is a little bit different. Because, you know, these came out during like the first wave. And these came out during like, I want to say like wave 7 or 8. But well, I'll get into opening this and then I'll talk a little bit more about it. So let me flip this over for a second. I'm not sure exactly how it's packaged or why it's wrapped in this. I'm guessing for protection. So these two figures, I'm hoping are mint. So as you can see, I have these in cases. So I'm gonna try to, like, I don't really do unboxings, but I'm gonna attempt to do one. All right. So I'm like, with my Origins collection, you can look at some of my other videos, but I'm about like 98%. At this point, the only thing I don't have is pretty much the PowerCon stuff. That, and I skipped the crowdfund stuff like Eternia. And Trapjaw is the only regular figure I need after these two. I'll show you one that I just got, actually. We'll go off a little off topic here. So I like to display my newer ones, you know, over here on my mantle. So my newest one right now is the Sunman Mattel Creations, which I believe was also in San Diego Comic-Con, I think. So that's my newest one. And then I got a mint Orko, the first wave, 2020. Look how crisp that is. Do you know how unbelievably hard that was to find? So yeah, my goal has been to try to get the most mint Origins collection there is. A few of the figures I let slide with a little crease in the corner. It's almost impossible to avoid, but the majority of my collection is like pretty much flawless. These two figures I've tried to get multiple times, and when they came, they were always destroyed. As far as like release for these figures, I've never seen them in stores. I don't really know anybody that did see them in stores in America. Anytime I look for them online, the main place I find them is Canadian sellers. I would have got them fairly cheap from Poland, but the shipping and stuff, goes up from shipping that far away. So we'll see if this is an upset or not. I mean, it ships so far that whatever condition it's in, I'm just going to take it. Because like I said, I've tried with these figures multiple times, and I just can't seem to get them mint. This guy showed me a picture, said they were mint, so we'll see. And now, some people are like, what's your obsession with mint? I don't know, dude. It's just a side goal I had when I first started this line. I was just like, I just want to get mint. That's what I want to do. And I want to preserve them. I love art. So it's like the art of the sculpture and then the arts of the card and everything like that. Will these be worth anything in the future? Probably not. Who knows? You know what I mean? Our generation is dying off, unfortunately. But for now, it makes me pretty happy. So, let's see what we got inside here. If I can, these unboxings are always hard doing like one-handed, trying to hold the camera and not really preparing too much. So it's a pretty heavy box. So we do got some padding here, that's good. A little bit of shredded up box for padding. Nice. And now the unveil. So, I don't know if he has these wrapped. Yeah, he has these wrapped together. So I'll have to take them out at the same time. So far, looking pretty good. So that was some heavy shredded cardboard he put in there for padding. Bubble wrap. I mean, yeah, that bubble wrap's good, but whatever. It works. So, all right. So let's look. Let's see what I ended up with. Let's see if I end up crying like a baby or if I'm happy. So yeah, you know, I found these on Amazon before for a lot cheaper, like $19 or something. I think for both of these, after tax, I paid a little over 50, maybe 60, but it wasn't more than that total. And let's see what we got here. Oh, Skeletor. So not too bad. We got a little bit of a crease down there. I could live with that. A little bit of a crease down there. I could live with that too. The bubble looks good. It's not detached. The card, as you can kind of see, is a little bit bent, but that's okay too. It's not actually bent. These tops of these cards are so flimsy that yeah, they'll do that sometimes. But once you put them in this case, it kind of straightens them out and everything, and that's not too big of a problem. The only time that's really a problem when it bends back like that is when it does it so far that I've seen it actually peel the seal right here in the corners, and that doesn't seem to be happening. So that's good. So far, Skeletor, I'm digging it. And this is the international one. So instead of it saying retro play, it has the international words on it. We'll go into some comparisons in a second. So not too bad. I'm fine with this. Barely a crease there. That's no big deal, really. So, yeah, the main thing on these Origins is they're always bent here or here. Like I said, almost all of mine are perfectly mint condition, like the Orco I said. I'm just going to let these slide with the little creases here, and then I'll make a note of it. What I usually do is I put a little tag and tie it above here, and I say there's a crease on the bottom corners, and I mark it. So if I ever sell off the collection in the future, or I pass away or something, every little thing is noted for, you know, whoever inherits it. But yeah, Skeletor, pretty cool. All right, let's check out He-Man now. So far, so good. He-Man looking a little bit better, I believe. Another nice thing about these is they're not punched. Also, my original figures aren't punched either, so that's pretty cool. A little side note, Skeletor is actually one of the first figures I found. Skeletor, Fisto, and then Faker, I believe, were the first ones. Oh, and the guy sent some, like, it looks like prayer cards, I guess. So they're in Polish. I'm actually Polish. This one's in American. So yeah, that was nice of him to send that. Even if you're not religious or anything, that's cool. I'll have to look this up. Another little side story, since this is from Poland, is I'm not sure how many people will be interested in this, but my family were Polish DP camp refugees. So on my American side, my grandpa fought against the Japanese. These are some of his medals from being in the Navy. He was a Seabee, so he didn't do a lot of fighting, did more like construction stuff in the Navy. And then my other grandpa was lost all of his land in Poland, and they became refugees. And then my mother was born in Germany until she was 5. So we have in this book here, have things like identity cards and stuff from I think 45 to 1950. So yeah, my mom was in Germany until she was 5, and then came over here. So back to the toys. Sorry if that was boring for some people. He-Man is looking pretty mint, pretty fresh. So we do have some damage here on the corner. Actually a little bit worse than I thought. A little bit of creases here. Like a crease that goes there and there. And kind of flimsy. There's a crease that goes across here too. I could live with that. Now, like to the normal collector, this would still kind of be considered like mint. Mint on card, or however you want to say it. The figure is still itself, it's mint. People usually aren't as picky as I am with the cards themselves, as long as they have it carded. But like I said, I'm trying to get like a pure mint collection. But since these are kind of like the last figures that I need, and I already got these other two, I'm sort of being lenient on the last few that I need because I'm sort of fed up, I guess you can say. So, not too bad. I mean, it's not punched. It's I'd give it like an 8 out of a 10, you know, something like that. Could be worse. This actually looks like it got, sometimes for some reason these cards get wet and you could feel like a separation right here. See, if I pick at it a little bit, feel a little bit of separation. And again, I know that's being super picky, but that's something I'll note, is that kind of feels like maybe it had a little bit of water damage on it, so it has a little bit of a card peeling and a few creases. So let's talk about these figures and what I know about them. So let's see here. So there is an American version of these, and the only difference between the American and the international ones, which these being the international ones, is they would say retro play right there, like how these do. Now these came out around wave maybe 8, I guess. And I think they were really the only 2 figures that came out. And I think they came out, I'm guessing with the rest of these, I'm not sure. So I know the backs are a little bit different. Somebody had pointed this out to me once. So when you look at Skeletor, like his mouth is closed there, and then you look at Skeletor here, his mouth is open. And so like you see how these say like new for 20, these don't say new for anything on it. So that's pretty interesting. Most of the back looks the same, except again, the language. That's a little bit different. I don't know what that says. Now, the figures themselves really aren't much different, besides the head in the comic book, really, as far as I know. So let's zoom into He-Man's head right there. I did a video before on these too with the ones that I returned. So you can see He-Man kind of has like a little triangle in his haircut, while this one he has the vintage head. And really that's the only difference. The best way to tell these apart, if you get confused with the heads, is I always look for this little sword here in the corner. If there's a sword there, that's the most common one. But if you look here, there's no sword in the comic book. Same thing with this one, there's no sword in the comic book. You look at here, there's the sword. So if you can't remember, that's a good way to remember the difference between the two, because it's a different comic book. I don't know how good you could see that, but that one says Sucker Punch. And that one says, I don't know if that says Beast Rage. And so we go to the Skeletor, and you can see this is the original with his mouth closed, and this is the newer one with his mouth open. So people very much prefer the vintage heads over the newer sculpts. But like I said, I've never seen these in stores when I was toy hunting, and most people don't really have these. Most people don't even know they exist. Most people don't know that they have one or the other. So that's the variation. None of these say new for 20 at the top. They'll always be blank. It'll either say the retro play or the international one there. Usually on the other figures that are international like this, none of them say new for at the top. But in this case, even if they're American, they won't say new for at the top. It's just how they are. So offhand, I don't see any other difference besides the head sculpt in the comic books and the other little things that I mentioned. So we're going to put these inside some cases here. For anybody wondering, these are Noslin cases. I don't know if you could see that. Well, actually, these cases are Protect. Protect cases is this one. This one's a Protect case. But now I exclusively use Noslin. The Noslin cases just fit a little bit better, and they don't come messed up like the Protects do. So if people are wondering about cases, just go on eBay and search in Noslin. That's where I get all my cases from. They're the best price. When you combine shipping and quantity, you'll get the best price. I don't like mock masters at all. They just don't fit right. So yeah, that's the figures there. I don't know how interesting this was. I'm out of breath a little bit, so if it sounds like I'm gasping for air, I am. I had COVID really bad in December, and then I had pneumonia right afterwards, all through January. So right now it's late February, and I'm still dealing with like post-COVID. My lungs got pretty scarred up, and having some issues with my throat and my lungs still. So yeah, I'm having one of those days. I'm kind of gasping for air like an anxiety attack. But yeah, for anybody interested, so these are the He-Man, I guess you can call them variants, but they were released somehow in some place, some stores. Harder to get, harder to find, harder to get in mint condition. If you're an opener, you should be able to get these fairly easy, and you can still get them pretty cheap too if you're an opener and you don't really care about the packaging. All right, so I hope people enjoyed. If you have suggestions about other like Motu videos, origins, I could try to make some. But farewell.